Hey everyone, my last video about the Genshin camera did not even get 100 views, so in this one we are going back to the boring real world photography. Moreover, I am feeling lazy at this time, so there won't be much editing either. You will just be staring at my janky Vtuber model and mediocre photos. And since nobody watches my video anyway, I want to touch on somewhat controversial topic, specifically what is a professional photographer.
What is
Professional photographer.
a miserable little pile of secrets?
Just a quick disclaimer, the point of this video is not to belittle anyone's achievements, but rather to show the perspective of someone who has no intention of becoming a so-called professional. So, let's begin. I wouldn't call myself a beginner in photography, but I'm not exactly an expert either. There's still a lot I don't know how to do and some things I don't fully understand, especially when it comes to film photography. So 2 years ago, when I got back into this hobby, the first thing I did was watch a ton of YouTube videos on the subject. Today, of course, there are thousands of videos with tutorials, reviews, and other photography content. Nothing like it back in 2011 when I first picked up the camera. But I digress. Anyway, in my search for interesting photo content, I constantly come across videos with titles like "This is how professionals do it," "Shoot like a pro," "Stop doing that, it's not how pros do it," and so on. I'm sure you've stumbled upon similar videos yourself while looking for photography related content. Most of these are just another run through of the exposure triangle, the rule of thirds, grid lines, and all that stuff. I don't really have any complaints about these videos. At best, you will learn something new, at worst, you will just waste time on information you already know. But amongst these content creators, there are also so-called professional photographers, who in my opinion try to force their particular style of photography on you, insisting that their way is the right way. And don't get me started on photography influencers. These people are corporate mouthpieces and will promote whatever they are paid to promote. That's why I don't even want to take their opinion into account. And anyway, influencers in our hobby are a whole other topic for a video. And that got me wondering, what exactly is a professional photographer? To be honest, no matter how many of these videos I watch, no one can clearly and concisely describe what this mythical professional actually is. After listening to most of these photographer YouTubers, you get the impression that they are some kind of all-knowing, all-seeing demigod for whom every shot is a smash hit and a commercial success. Which is actually pretty funny coming from people who are raving about yet another new expensive camera that does 99% of the work for them. And of course, they are the very professionals you should be learning from. Honestly, I don't like how the word professional is used these days. It's turned into more of a marketing term and lost its original meaning. Out of nowhere, our phones suddenly become pro models, and nowhere is this more noticeable than in our photography hobby, where you might be called a non-professional for choosing a camera sensor that they deem wrong. It's just absurd for me. But here's what I tell you. For me, the definition of a pro photographer is very simple. A professional photographer is someone who can deliver exactly what their client wants. And of course gets paid for it. Simple as that. As for the level of photographic knowledge, expertise, their style, or forgive me, the size of their camera sensor, all of that is secondary. That's why I think it's really silly to criticize someone for not meeting some arbitrary professional standards in their photos. In short, you got paid for your photos. As far as I'm concerned, you're a professional photographer. And as far as I know, even in the photo contest there are no objective criteria for a photo to win the first place. It's all come down to luck, namely whether the judges like it or not. The beauty of a photo is a very subjective thing. It's impossible to please everyone. That's why I don't plan on becoming some pro photographer. First of all, I want to avoid my hobby from becoming a routine job. Second, I want my photos to appeal to me first and foremost, not to anyone else. That's why I don't want to listen to those YouTubers and change my photos to make them look more professional in their opinion, because then I wouldn't like them myself. Not every photograph needs to have a commercial value, and I think just because a photo is commercially successful doesn't mean it's objectively better than others. That's why these days I prefer to watch film photographers on YouTube. They almost never talk about professionalism or commercial success of photography, yet they create masterpieces using nothing more than a box with a hole in it. But that's just my opinion, and as they say, opinions are like assholes, everyone has one. If you disagree with it and believe that what defines professional photography is something else, please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. I definitely used the word professional way too many times in this video. Honestly, I think we should use different words instead, but apparently this word always works great for clickbait, since everyone always wants to do things like a pro. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my rambling thoughts on this topic. Press like and subscribe if you did, give it a thumbs down if you didn't. Oh, and check my previous videos too. Good luck to everyone, and I see you later.